welcome back to the channel. Andrew Lewis here, GL Rustic Design. I just want to quickly show you how I sketched up this is my first ever cabinet job, and I'm doing it with V-Carve Pro with my CNC machine. I don't have Mosaic, so for the ones I get asked a lot how I do this in V-Carve. So if you're one of the ones who uses V-Carve and you're watching this video, this is how I do it. So all the pieces you can see, they're just a bunch of squares and rectangles and whatnot. And so pantry bottom shelf, there's both of the drawer sides, all the, I call them, I don't know, I always name everything too. You don't have to name everything, but it helps me remember, because when I take it off the CNC, I don't know what it was called, or I don't know where it goes. So, and, you know, I can stack it better. So, but like I said, this is just some of the pieces. And so I drill all of these holes as well, for the pinholes for the adjustable shelves, all that. And like I said, all the measurements, I just, you know, label everything. But, you know, this is how small this cabinet job is. You know, end up being 8 sheets. So, you know, that's the whole thing. It also has an island that goes with it, which will be, I guess, part 3 of this series. So this is part 1. Part 2 will be so the pantry and the side, and then part 3 will be the island. So hope you enjoy. Hey guys, on today's episode of GL Rustic Design, we're going to be building my very first set of a very small cabinet. So this is going to consist of the 2 uppers, 2 lowers, and then the part that goes over the fridge. So this is me learning on the go. I've obviously been building furniture for about 5 years, but this is my first set of cabinets. So I used my CNC machine to cut out all the pieces, which you saw in the first step. And then I used pocket holes everywhere. So that was the back, pocket holes in the back to connect the sides, and then also pocket holes and some glue to connect the the top and the bottoms of the uppers. So started with the uppers, and then the next set will be the lowers, and then the, like I mentioned, over the fridge. So once again, top bond glue, pocket holes. All these dimensions are really, you know, I kind of let them be offset. So the upper cabinets are like 12 inches deep, and then the ones over the fridge, I think, are like 18 inches deep. Just, you know, just kind of try to give it a little bit of a look while it's hanging. All this is stained, and then it has adjustable holes down the sides so that you can move the shelves up and down. So once you get all that attached, I was trying to leave about 1 inch of room at the bottom, just so that while you're looking at the cabinets, which you'll see in the end, just so that you don't see you know, the very bottom of the cabinet while it's hanging. So, and while I have just a second, please subscribe to the channel. I'm just trying to reach a very small goal of 1,000 subscribers, closing in on 700. So if you're watching this video, please hit the subscribe button below. It really helps me out, really trying to grow this channel to be something big. So once you get the actual cabinet base done, then you can move on to the face. And once you get the face done, it's just more pocket holes, more glue, you know, 2 pocket holes in each piece. And you kind of have to think, well, how are we going to attach the sides of all? So like the upper cabinets, like how are you going to attach that to the next one beside it? What piece is going to be open? So like, I know there's going to be a vent hood down the middle. So really I'm only concerned with one side of the upper cabinets is going to be open, that's going to be seen. So the other side, technically you're not going to see, because it's going to be screwed into the side of, you know, the cabinet beside it. So, you know, it's just, you know, it's just a thought process that you got to have. But so I just used a 1.5 inch piece of wood, you know, to make the top and the bottom of the face, the middle and the 2 sides. They just wanted 2 doors up top. Generally probably would have went with maybe 4 doors up top. I think it would have made it look a little bit better, but you know, the plans I was given was just 2 doors. So I'm trimming out the sides. As I'd mentioned, I know there's going to be you're going to be able to see the sides open with the vent hood, but the other side is not. So I actually put trim on both sides, stain both sides, but and you going down the road, the only one of them is going to be visible. And so once you get all that attached, like I said, there's more pocket holes here. You really only have to sand the inside of the trim, because you're not going to see the outside of the trim, because it's going to be covered up by either the wall or by the face of the upper cabinet. And so once you get that done, so I'm moving on to the lowers. So the lowers will have 3 drawers in it. And so these are all assembled the same. So I just use pocket holes. I've seen some videos that people will route out, you know, to slide a 1/4 inch piece of birch down the back end. You know, it's all the same. You know, I'll probably, you know, we're talking just a few more dollars just to do it this way. I like them to be more sturdy, and instead of having a 1/4 inch birch at the back, but you can do it either way. You know, there's many ways that you can do this. This is, like I said, this is my very first set of cabinets, so you know, I'm sure I've learned some things as I've completed these. Some things I probably changed down the road, but overall I'm pretty happy. So like I said, so this is the side. To the bottom we'll have the foot kicker, so that, you know, when you walk up to the cabinet, that you don't kick the bottom of it. And then so this is just attaching the 2 sides itself. You could also, you don't really technically have to use pocket holes there. You could just, you know, screw into the side. So once you get both those attached to the back, so this is going to be the part that there's going to be 3 of these. So this whole is just really keeping all the drawers really straight, and then gives you something down the road to attach your countertops onto. And then so glue those, pocket hole those in. And then also, you know, the one for the front will be to attach the face frame, just to keep the face frame straight, just to keep it you know, from being bowed in or out. And so like I said, here again, you could also, since you're not going to see any of the sides of this, you could put probably one of the things I would change going back, I mean, you're not going to see it anyways, but I would flip the pocket holes to be on the inside of the drawer, so that you don't see anything on the side, which there's going to be a stove in the middle between these 2 pieces anyways. So, but you know, that's something I would switch going down the road if I had to do it again. But so here, so that will later connect the face of the drawer. And then so there's a bottom piece as well. You know, I cut all these at like 4 inches, whatever. Like I said, all these are custom, so there's really, you know, no need to dig out all of the measurements. But you know, these runners, I just put them at 4 inches. You could put them at 3 or whatever. There's really no standard here, at least that I'm not aware of. But so here, you know, attaching those, you could use screws on the outside as well. You know, I'm just trying to hide as many things as I can, and then so you can later come back and attach the face. So building the face to the drawers is really the same as the uppers. I start with my sides, you know, have them the length from the top of the drawer box to the top of where the foot kicker is, and then from there, you know, I'll measure out how tall I want my individual drawers to be. In this case, the top one I think was 4 inches tall, 4 or 5 inches tall. I think it was 4. And then I just divided the bottom 2 equally. I think it ended up being like 10.5 inches. And so once you get all these little pieces, they're just 1.5 inch pieces of wood. Once you get all of that measured, here, like I said, here just me trying to find the middle. I think it, like I said, it ended up being about 10.5. And so once you find that, you can screw that together. Sometimes it's kind of hard doing it with one hand. But like I said, more Kreg jig pocket holes. This thing has been a lifesaver when especially trying to do these faces. And then so this is just attaching the bottom piece. You know, you already know your measurements from here. Everything is sanded. Sand all the fronts really good. You know, I use 220 up to 320 grit sandpaper to make sure that everything you know, is as smooth as can be. You know, so there's no straggling pieces of wood. And again, while you watch me do this, please subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. Really trying to get to that goal of 1,000 subscribers. It's really small. I know there's YouTube videos and other content makers that have thousands and millions of subscribers. Please help me out. Just subscribe to the channel. And so once you get the face done, you can attach it to the lower cabinet. So here I'm just trying to make sure that it is as even as possible, making sure that it is on the outside of the cabinet. You know, whether it be if it's off any, you can always, you know, adjust it, you know, how it needs to be. But so there's just 3 pocket holes on the outside that I used to attach that, and then you have the 3 across the top runner, and then the 3 across the bottom runner, and this will keep everything nice and straight. You know, and makes sure that you have a good finished product. So once you get that piece done, so I went ahead and I attached all of, you can see on the inside all where I plan on putting my drawer slides, and then so I think at the end of this video I'll come back and I'll show you those, but those are just the length of the inside. And then so this is me attaching the bottom runner, and so just a little bit of glue, you know, you just cut up some birch. I think they're like 3 inches tall, something like that. And then just a birch front as well. You know, I've seen people, they've used 2x4s for the boxes for the bottom. You know, like I said, it's just easier for me to attach the bottoms. And here you can see my kid. He's running around in there somewhere. He's drawing me pictures. He's wanting to show me the pictures. He's wanting to take the videos for me. He's a future YouTube content maker. So, you know, love him to death. He's my little helper for sure. So if you see him, I think in another video, you'll see him running around in the background. So just ignore him. He's my little buddy. So. But here, just more pocket holes attaching so that you don't have to put any screw through the front. I'm just attaching the bottom there, and then once you get that, it's done. So like I said, there's no nails needed, just a little bit of glue. And then so this is me bouncing back. So in between times I had went back and just stained the face of the uppers and the lowers, and stained all that so that I didn't have any chance of having getting stain on the inside of my upper cabinets, so that there's a clean cut, you know, right down the middle. And so this is just me going back and attaching the face of the upper cabinet after I got it stained. And so I think it's 3, 6, it's gonna be like 9 pocket holes, 3 on the top, 3 on each of the other sides, and then you attach the bottom. You can use a little bit of glue just to kind of hold it. And so once you get that done, you can go back and attach the trim. I just used some little 1¼ screws there, Torx head screws, to attach all the trim with. Like I said, one of those sides you're not going to see. I wasn't too concerned about it, but I just put it on there just to make them look the same. Probably could have used just another piece of birch, you know, to screw in there just to get the depth, so that when you put a screw through it, you can attach it. And then so this is just me putting the little pinholes, the plastic pinholes to put the shelves in. So it has a metal piece, and then it has a plastic to hold the actual shelf up, so that you can have an adjustable shelf. I put 2 shelves, 2 extra shelves, and then you have the bottom as well. And that's just me kind of showing. I think they end up, they'll fall out, and then we'll let the customer, put them where they want the actual shelf to be. And then once you get that done, I went back and I stained the whole outsides of those as well. And then while all that was dry, while I was doing that, I went ahead and, like I mentioned, I'd stained the lower cabinets as well, the lower drawers. And then this is me attaching the actual drawer slides. Like I said, I just use a little runner piece there, attach those drawer slides with the screws that they provide. And then so I go back and I use 1/2-inch birch to make the drawer box with, and I'll just use some glue and some brad nails. I think I typically use like a 16-inch deep drawer slide, because when you cut a 1/2-inch piece of plywood or 1/2-inch piece of birch, you can get 3 sections out of it, so there's really no waste in the end. And you can get the 16-inch drawer slides in pretty abundantly. So, and then so once you get you measure out, the inside of the drawer box will always be 2 inches, or you can subtract 2 inches from the total width, and that gives you your inside of the drawer box, because you have 1 inch for both slides, and then you have 1 inch for both outside pieces of the drawer box, so that's 2 inches. Just a quick, easy way to calculate that. And then you can use your like I said, glue brad nails there. You can usually go 1/2 inch to 1 inch, and that gives you your sides, so that these would be like 9.5 to 10 inches tall drawers. More glue, more brad nails, and it's not over. There's no need to overcomplicate this. I could cut it out in my CNC if I wanted to. I think these I ended up cutting by hand, so it was just quicker to make the 3 drawers by hand. And once you get all those glued and nailed together, that gives you your boxes. And then you can go back and use when you put your actual sides on, I use this same piece of wood that I kind of I've always laid around. If you're watching my other videos, this piece of wood probably looks familiar. This is how I attach all my drawer slides, so that I don't really have to try to calculate any measurements. I use that as I put the drawer slides in the box, so that I don't call it a jig or whatever you want, just so I don't have to make any measurements. But once you get the drawer slides in, you can slide those in. And then I actually use some 1.5-inch screws, 1.5 or inch torque head screws to attach the drawer faces to the front. I didn't include the video of how to actually make the drawer fronts and the doors in here, because most people end up buying their doors anyways. I'll make a whole nother video of actually how to make a door on a table saw. So like I said, all these end up being stained. If I was painting these, I would have went and bought, I would have got, there's a local company to me that makes all doors, so I would end up using those to get the painted versions. If it was cabinets, any vanities or anything else, I usually use my CNC just to use MDF. But so this is me making the side that goes over the fridge. So the long side you see laying on the floor, that's going to be the outside trim that you see when you first walk into the kitchen, just so it hides the side of the fridge. And then this other side will be the side that will connect to the upper cabinets that we just built. And so you can see I went ahead and used my CNC to make the adjustable holes there as well, on both sides, use Kreg pocket holes to attach the back, the sides, the top, the bottom, and then I'll go back and I'll make a I'll cut me out a shelf as well. And then add the trim on the other side. The face is the same as the upper cabinets, as is the drawers. The doors will all be cut the same. It's just kind of rinse and repeat. Once you really get the flow down, cabinets are not terribly hard. They just really, you have to take more time on these, just because they're going in the kitchen. It's something that someone's going to be really looking forward to compared to something else. So the next part, this will only be part 1 of this video. Part 2 will be the kitchen island, which I plan on starting today. So make sure you stay tuned to that. It should be posted next week. The kitchen island build part of this, it has like a dishwasher and whatever in it. So I'm looking forward to that. So thank you all for watching the video. Once again, for the 3rd time, please like and subscribe to the video. It really helps me out, really helps the algorithm. I'm trying to spit these videos out once a week, just to show you what I'm doing. So, but thank you again.